Good evening, everyone. Welcome to yet another Spaces session of Markets की बात स्टॉकविट्स के साथ एंड आज हमारे साथ एक काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग मार्केट वॉइस है आशीष आशीष सर इज़ द फाउंडर ऑफ वेव स्ट्रैटेजी एडवाइजर्स। वो एक चार्टर्ड मार्केट टेक्नीशियन भी है और वो काफ़ी सारे नोन बिजनेस मीडिया चैनल्स पर आते हैं, जी बिजनेस, सी एन बी सी टीवी 18 ईटी नाउ एंड एक रिनाउंड ऑथर भी है। So a quick welcome, Ashish sir. First of all, quick check on the audio as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pratik, for the kind introduction. And I just want to check if I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, yes, 100%. काफी clear है sir.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So we have the listeners. Sir, हम start कर सकते हैं. As usual, मैं आपसे पहला जो व्यू जानना चाहूँगा निफ्टी पे जानना चाहूँगा. काफ़ी स्ट्रेंथ दिख रही है एंड सिंस दिसंबर भी चल रहा है, क्रिसमस ऑन द वे, सो सैंटा रैली को लेके आपकी क्या एक्सपेक्टेशंस है एंड आप कैसे देख रहे हैं ओवरऑल मार्केट का व्यू सर?
देखिए निफ्टी पे तो आई एम श्योर एवरीवन विल बी एक्साइटेड टू नो अबाउट व्हाट्स हैपनिंग विद निफ्टी और 2023 में क्या होने वाला है, अभी फिलहाल क्या लग रहा है। तो अगर so there will be different time frames from which we have to talk about it. So if I talk from a shorter term time frame, looking at the movement which happened today in the afternoon and the closing, so अगर आप देखोगे तो बहुत ही सिंपल टेक्निक अगर आप कंबाइन करोगे by looking at candles, over past 7 days nifty did not close above the prior candle high. बहुत ही सिंपल टेक्निक है कि प्रीवियस कैंडल के हाई के ऊपर 7 दिन से निफ्टी ने बंद ही नहीं किया था। टुडे इज द फर्स्ट डे आफ्टर 7 consecutive days when we can see that nifty has managed to close above the previous day high. So आज का जो closing है वो definitely better है, where we can see that the close is above the prior day high and it formed a higher high higher low simple Dow theory method से। so the overall जो medium term uptrend है, we are now completed that short term down move and looks like we are resuming the medium term up move। एंड ये मैं इसलिए नहीं कह रहा क्योंकि आप लोग एसजीएक्स निफ्टी देख रहे होगे या यूएस इन्फ्लेशन डेटा आया एंड यू कैन सी द यूएस मार्केट इज बाउंसिंग बैक एंड ऑल ऑफ दोज थिंग्स। सो even before that, this is what our market produced by closing at 330, so it does not require any news for it to go up, just because simple looking at the candle, I think short term we might have formed a low। 18,410 is a very important support now। जब तक वो इंटैक्ट है, आई थिंक वी माइट अगेन हेड बैक टुवर्ड्स दैट 18,800 मार्क ओवर द शॉर्ट टर्म। द मीडियम टर्म आउटलुक अगर हम बात करें तो फिलहाल देयर इज नो साइंस which is suggesting that the market should fall as long as we continue to make that higher high higher low formation। So as of now I'm going to be bullish over short term और medium term के बारे में अगर बात करें आज से 3 महीने, so maybe we might have a more range bound approach rather than a very strong trend। The reason being, if you look at the sector specific movement, if you look at mid cap or if you look at small cap, they are yet to perform, so we are not seeing any leaders emerging out of any of these mid cap or small cap sector which is leading or a sector which is leading। On one hand, bank nifty PSU banks are major, is the flavor of the day right now, but the sectors keep changing very fast। If you look at IT underperformed, pharma is still underperforming, so we are yet to see a broad based rally। So over the medium term I think we will be positive, but we are definitely outperforming if you look at the overall global markets। If you look at US, where are they right now? If you look at FTSE UK market or DAX German market, Nikkei over here, or Hang Seng has been a disaster। So compared to all the other markets, we are definitely outperforming if you do a ratio analysis, that also shows a very strong outperformance, so which is a positive sign। I mean, India is being preferred this time, and the good part about it is when we are correcting, we are only correcting more on time wise, not price wise much, so that keeps the undertone bullish।
Got it. सर मैं नेक्स्ट बैंक निफ्टी पे आपका व्यू जानना चाहूँगा। नाउ बैंकिंग स्टॉक्स हैव रियली परफॉर्म वेल दिस पर्टिकुलर ईयर। आपने जैसे पीएसयू बैंक्स के बारे में बताया, प्राइवेट बैंक्स भी पीछे नहीं है। एक्सिस बैंक, इंडसइंड बैंक्स ऑलमोस्ट 35% ऊपर है इस पर्टिकुलर साल में 2022 में। आप बैंक निफ्टी पे कैसा व्यू देख रहे हैं अभी?
Definitely, see, Bank Nifty is much more outperforming compared to Nifty। So, what is very interesting, over the past 2 weeks, if you observe very closely, बैंक निफ्टी ऐसा सेक्टर है जिसने लाइफ टाइम हाई वापस से टच किया, एंड इट हैज कंटिन्यू टू डू दैट, and Nifty has corrected, which is and you will not believe, many traders were taken by surprise by that कि यार बैंक निफ्टी ऊपर जा रहा है, निफ्टी नीचे जा रहा है, हो क्या रहा है, मतलब लोगों को समझ में ही नहीं आया ये चल क्या रहा है. Even today, if you look at it, bank nifty is still at lifetime highs and nifty is away from that levels. So overall it looks bank nifty is outperforming. We have seen substantial correction, especially in the space of PSU banks here, and look at the way they have been going up sharply. If you look at UCO Bank or and many such banks from the PSU space, also if you look at it, they have been a sharp rally that you can make out. So there are two things that you have to understand out of this. एक तो ऐसा होता है कि भाई देख के आपको ऐसा लगता है कि ये फंडामेंटली ऐसा क्या चेंज हो गया कि ये सब बैंक 20-20% बढ़ रहे हैं. यू नो, यस बैंक हैज बीन, अगेन वी कैन सी इन 2 days हाउ इट हैज परफॉर्म्ड. बट फंडामेंटली इफ यू गो एंड ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट रीजनिंग, न्यूज विल कम लेटर ऑन, बिकॉज आपको पता नहीं न्यूज अभी क्या है. मे बी इट विल कम लेटर ऑन, और मे बी इट इज प्योर स्पेकुलेशन, और वॉट एवर द concept is. But if you look at simple price action or simple technical studies, or as a trader, if you look at the charts of these, then it looks good enough. So from bank nifty perspective, if you ask me to give target over the shorter term time, I'm not sure, because right now this is the market where you don't have the target, because it has lifetime high. There is no resistance upside. You don't know where it is going. It is nearly 44,000 now. It can go to 45, 46,000. Who knows? And so the best strategy in this kind of scenario आपको follow करना चाहिए is trend following. You can use a simple moving average kind of a following, or you can use Ichimoku cloud, or any such thing. So trend following will work much better in this kind of market. So unless the support breaks, so bank nifty has a very important support as 43,000, and from there it has bounced back multiple times, multiple attempts. So this is a very crucial level. So as long as 43 is intact, I think you use dips to keep buying this market. So the view on bank nifty is bullish as of now, but I think there will be sector rotation. So bank nifty cannot be alone responsible for continuing the rally. It has to be rotating across. So we might start seeing some metals coming and sharing across some burden of the bank nifty and trying to rally. Maybe IT is some time that we have seen IT to be showing some kind of basing formation and start showing some kind of outperformance. So as of now, banking is outperforming. It's a good sign, but eventually the burden has to be passed on to the other sectors also, because that is what I'm going to closely watch.
सर जस्ट कंटिन्यूइंग ऑन दिस डिस्कशन, जैसा आपने एंड किया कि कुछ और सेक्टर्स है जहाँ पर आपकी नज़र है, तो क्या आप हाईलाइट कर सकते हैं एक या ऐसे दो सेक्टर्स जिस पे आपकी नज़र है फॉर लेट्स से द कमिंग फर्स्ट क्वार्टर ऑफ द नेक्स्ट ईयर?
So the sector that I'm going to be closely observing is going to be metal index, because बहुत टाइम से हमने देखा है कि मेटल इंडेक्स में बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग ट्रेंड नहीं है. So I think it can start outperforming very soon. That is one sector that I'm going to keep a watch on. The other sector, as I said, is going to be definitely the FMCG space, क्योंकि we can clearly see from the FMCG sector, stocks like ITC, we can see HUL. It is not very often that you see these kind of sectors outperforming, right? This kind of stocks outperforming. So FMCG, I think, will be the best space starting 2023 in the first quarter, where you should be looking out. So FMCG and metal can be the space that I'm looking at. IT, I don't want to recommend right now, because we are yet to see. It has to prove itself. होता है ना कि भाई अपनी strength को prove तो करो. So IT is yet to show that. So once IT starts showing it, I'll keep a watch. But once it starts showing some kind of strength, then I will be betting on that. So for me, the most important sector is going to be FMCG first, and then I'll keep a close watch on metals as well.
Awesome. Sir, before we discuss any stocks, एक interesting question मैं जानना चाहूँगा आपसे. Now, since हम almost year end पे है, ये वाला साल market wise काफी ऊपर नीचे रहा था. We had seen a good fall as well, then good rebounds as well. आपके लिए personally क्या learnings रही है इस particular साल से? Now, why I'm asking this is because आप काफी experienced हो, and despite that, I'm quite sure ये साल भी काफी कुछ सिखा गया होगा. So, what were your top learnings इस particular साल से?
देखिए, हर साल ही कुछ ना कुछ सिखाता है, वो 2022 हो कि 2020 हो या 2008 हो। मैं ये डेट्स की इसलिए बात कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि 2008 में आई वाज़ वर्किंग विथ लीमन ब्रदर्स और सभी को मालूम है फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस में सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट कहाँ हुआ था। सो लीमन ब्रदर्स ने बैंकरप्सी फाइल की थी, तो वहाँ से बहुत कुछ सीखने मिला था मुझे कि यार नथिंग इज़ परमानेंट इन दिस मार्केट, यू नो, इन दिस जर्नी व्हेन यू आर अ ट्रेडर you need to be prepared for anything is possible, you know, कल ऐसा so I am amazed when people say यार कल ये 100% ऐसा होने वाला है and I was like wow, how do you know that? I mean, how do you know 100% कल क्या होगा? So 2008 was a classic example. So whenever we get you know, as a trader, when we have series of wins and we become arrogant and reckless, market teaches you something new कि it's not that you can make money daily. There will be losses that you have to take. So that is 2008 and huge change in my life because I was doing a lot of fundamental studies and then I realized yeah 2008 mein ki you need to know something about price also because bhav bhagwan che. Ultimately the prices kept on falling and then you can't really ignore and say the stocks of Lehman, Bear Stearns, Goldman, they were trading below the book value, so they are fairly valued. You should go and buy and look at it. They filed for bankruptcy, Bear Stearns and Lehman. I'm talking about. So you can't really say that. So you need to be focused on price. Of course, whether you are a fundamentalist or you are a technical analyst or you are a trader or you are into any kind of a business, because what is also important is that when a specific sector, when a specific set of stocks starts underperforming, that's a very important sign. You know that your business is going to be impacted sooner rather than later because that sector is underperforming. So a lot of insights can be driven from that. I'm talking from the various cycles of the market because I have seen since 2 decades how it has gone up, how it has gone down, and when everyone believes that there is too many of so you know the classic learning from 2022 you can take out is that I remember speaking with people in 2021 when everyone said that there is too much of money flowing into SIPs, markets can't correct. And I found that absolutely illogical reasoning. Kyuki just because we have liquidity does not mean market should go up. That way, the markets will never fall because the liquidity, if the cycle is up for 3 years, then the market should move with that cycle. And when there is a interest rate hike, then the market should move down because the liquidity is getting sucked out of everywhere. So वैसे नहीं चलता है, मतलब even if you have a huge SIPs that are coming in does not mean that the market will rally, and people believed that thoroughly in 2021. And look what happened post October 2021. I mean, for a period of nearly 6-8 months, there was a constant down, lower high, lower low formation. For many, that was not a correction, but look at the stocks in that period of time. Look at the opportunity that if you are invested in 21 October and look at where it went. So the index itself corrected sharply from 18600 levels towards 15,000 odd on the downside, and that itself shows that market के लिए जरूरी नहीं है कि लिक्विडिटी हो, मार्केट के लिए ये भी जरूरी है कि समझना ये जरूरी है कि these are cyclicals, it can change trend very fast. You need to be prepared for playing different type of a market. When it becomes too easy to play, you should understand it will change. तो मतलब 2022 was very different if you look at 2022 compared to 21 or 2020 के बाद का move. It was very different, and trust me, many people lost lot of money in that entire period of time because they were too much fixated कि नहीं market तो ऊपर ही जाएगा, market तो यहीं जाना चाहिए, market. So you know that is a very important teaching for any trader or investor I would like to make out is that markets will do what it has to do. You need to change yourself. You can't really change market. So for example, you will see people talking about 20,000. I'm not saying we will not go there on Nifty. We will go there eventually. But but you should change your stand. If tomorrow Nifty breaches below that 17,900 mark, I will be bearish for at least for a few months. And I will not say नहीं, मैंने prediction किया था कि first quarter will be good and that's why I'm going to be bullish on the market. So the classic learning that 2022 would have given you that you should be prepared for any type of a market scenario. You need to know how to make money out of that. That is very crucial. You cannot say I'm a bull, so I'll only buy and make money, buy and sell. No, if you don't know how to sell and buy, then you will not really make money during the downtrends, and you will always keep buying the dips and when the bigger fall happens, you will end up losing a lot of money. So this is a classic teaching that you can make out in the entire period of 22. It was a down up down kind of a market. When everyone gave up, it's then the market started rallying. Another important learning that you should also have is that uh, people people forget the fact that the inflation data that comes out is for the past. So for example, if you go and check my tweet which I made in November 2021, I talked about how inflation is going to be the major reason for correction for next few months, and people are completely ignoring that. वो time पे inflation की बात हो भी नहीं रही थी, and people were simply ignoring that kind at that point of time. And very clearly, I was very vocal about it that next 3 months, if RBI does not act, they are going to be missing out big time, and they will have to rush in order to start increasing their interest rates very quickly. And that's what we started seeing now. So what I see, the impact of what the action of global inflationary has happened is US. We can clearly see the rate hike that they have done at such a huge pace. इसका रिपरकशंस अभी नहीं आएगा, इसका रिपरकशंस इवेंचुअली 3 months 6 months डाउन द लाइन आएगा, but repercussions will be there because such fast pace in which when you take some actions it will have repercussions. So even in India the central banks acted late, I would say, and they just try to catch up so that inflation cools down, but that you are also going to impact growth to a lot of extent. In this kind of period, in this kind of fast moving, you are forgetting the very fact that the majority of the population are not just the ones that are insulated from inflation, like luxury items and those things. The majority of the population are still being beaten down by inflation, and at the same time, if the growth slows down, they can't afford to do that, and that's a double-edged sword. So the point I'm trying to make is that you should try to not look at inflation as the number for saying that the markets will go up. So US का inflation data है, market अभी ऊपर जा रहा है तो कल से bullish है. मतलब no, it doesn't work that way. So what I'm saying is you should look at that data independently, which is for the past, and then you should forecast the future. मतलब आपको there has to be some tools that you can use to forecast what's going to happen 3 months down the line using that tool. So for example, I use Elliott Wave to understand where can markets move from here 3 months, 6 months, 1 year down the line, or what will happen with specific sector. In fact, I also forecast what will happen with the yields, bond yields, because bond yields are classic indicator of what government stand is going to be. So for, if you look at past 3 months, past 1 month, the bond yields have stabilized around that area for some time, which means that going forward, the central bank action is going to be, they will not increase the interest rate at that pace that they were doing earlier. So the action of the central bank is a lagging indicator, inflation is a lagging indicator, and markets are forward looking, which majority of the people ignore. So one more learning that you can have from 2022 is you can't really ignore the markets. You need to see markets, you need to see prices. You should have some ability to forecast the prices in whichever way. Maybe you can say earnings forecast, or maybe you can say price forecast, some ability to have that. And that has to be the reason for you to whether to buy or you want to sell. People say you should not forecast the market. I say, if you are buying a stock, are you not forecasting that it should go up? There are many people I know who says pure price action देखना है, market forecast नहीं करना है. But price action देख के आप कर क्या रहे हो? आप buy कर रहे हो, मतलब आप forecast कर रहे हो market ऊपर जाएगा. So how is that not forecasting? So and use anything that works. So it does not really matter whether you are looking at uh, inflation data, whether you're looking at fundamentals data, whether you look at P ratio, or you look at any data. Simply look at any data, but do not try to get biased by seeing those data. You need to have your own judgment and own opinion about the markets, looking at certain, how to use this data. And think one thing, everyone is aware about that data. If everyone is aware about that data and you think you have an edge, then you don't really are going to make money. So you need to have an edge, which is very crucial. And people say that forecasting is not possible. So I'll give a classic example. In 2013, Sensex was somewhere around 17, 18,000 at that point of time. And Bank Nifty was at 12,000 level. My research was published to clients where we forecasted that in 7 to 8 years, Sensex will touch 61,000, Bank Nifty will touch 40,000. October 2021 completed that 8 years, and Bank Nifty was at 40,000 from where it reversed temporarily, and Sensex touched 61, just went above that 62,000, reversed from there for around 8 months. So I'm saying this is possible. So in that period of time, a lot of things happened. I mean, the world went all over the place. The fundamental news were all over the place. India-China rift happened, US happened, elections happened, lot of things happened. But market ने वही किया जो उसे करना था. So what is interesting, COVID happened 2020, and still market did what it has to do. The 2021 rise, the COVID cases were rising and the markets were rising, and majority of the people missed out the trend because they thought that the COVID cases are rising, the market should fall. And look at it, it never fall. It just went up and away. So that's how you have to look at it. So in a nutshell, if I have to say 3 points that you should learn out of 2022, or rather from the past, the first point is you should always be open for either trading on the downside or trading on the upside if you are a trader. Okay, you should never be biased that I will only buy just because you are biased about it. That's one. Because we saw in 2022 great opportunities even on the downside happen. Second, do not say ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता, market गिर ही नहीं सकता or market बढ़ ही नहीं सकता. You will always be held for a surprise if you say it is not possible to forecast for markets to go down just because there is a lot of liquidity. Third, do not pay too much of attention on the lagging indicators, which is like inflation, employment data, because those have happened. Those are the past. The best of the GDP numbers, go back and check history. The best of the GDP numbers came when the markets were at the top. 2008 is a classic example. We were the fastest growing, one of the fastest growing economy, and the markets crashed post that. So you can't really say this data is lagging, to be honest. So use a forward looking indicators, whatever methods you want to use, and then use that, believe into that, and then you will be able to make money.
Awesome, sir. काफी डिटेल में आपने लर्निंग्स बताई है. आई एम वेरी श्योर दैट इसमें से अगर हम 50% और 60% भी अप्लाई करते हैं तो एज एन इंडिविजुअल ट्रेडर और इन्वेस्टर काफी हम इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. जितनी भी आपकी एडवाइसेस थी काफी ऑन स्पॉट है, एंड एवरी वन ऑफ अस कैन extract something out of it. So moving on, I just want to go a bit stock specific, and सबसे पहले मैं पेटीएम पे आपका व्यू जानना चाहूंगा. नाउ अभी न्यूज आई है कि पेटीएम ने 850 करोड़ रुपीस का बायबैक अनाउंस किया है. अभी कुछ दिनों से ये न्यूज थी, एंड इसके चलते स्टॉक में काफी मूवमेंट भी आ रहा था. बट अभी सिंस ये अनाउंसमेंट हो चुका है, यहाँ से आप कैसे देखते हैं इस पर्टिकुलर काउंटर को?
Sure. So just as a disclaimer, we are SEBI registered research analyst, and what we are discussing now, I have no financial interest in these stocks, which we are going to talk about. So Paytm, if you look at Paytm, I mean the listing price post the listing, the stock was around 1750, and the low which formed on the stock is around 440 के आसपास low बना है before we are seeing some kind of a positive movement on the stock. So if you look at it, there are two ways to approach this stock. One is as a short-term trading opportunity if you are seeing anything, and the other is if you want to invest into something like this, you look at it like an undervalued stock. So for me, what is more important is that I would rather bet on the stocks that are leaders, that are leading the rally, because those are the ones that have already given a breakout even before Nifty did, or even before Bank Nifty did. They are leading. But a stock like this, if you check, I mean, it has been a disaster for all the investors who have been looking and waiting for it to go up. You can see every time it went up, it started coming back on the downside. And it's not so. To be honest, I'm going to be very upfront. I'm the guy who will be very blunt. I don't care what others say and talk about it. What is important is that आपको एक चीज समझनी होगी. 2020 के अंदर अगर आप देखेंगे तो Paytm was ruling the market, no second thought about it, क्योंकि everything went online, everything, there was no other way, and people started using big time Paytm, and we know how it all spanned out. And 2021, but eventually if you see, once the payment gateway, the UPIs, Google Pay, and all phone pay and all of those started picking up, Paytm started losing its edge, because right now I have to transfer my money to Paytm, and from Paytm then I have to purchase something that looks like too much of a hassle. I'll rather do a GPay. I mean, it's very quickly, and That's how convenient it has become. So I would suggest, from the business perspective, I don't see an edge over there. They might have a lot of things in pipeline. Things can change. I'm not denying that. There can be opportunities if someone is looking at it. But for me, where is the edge in terms of the business that they are doing? How is it going to be at the space where it was 2, 3, 4 years ago? From the chart perspective, if you look at the stock, I mean, you can clearly see the stock has just forming lower highs, lower lows. Still, we do not have any kind of traction to see about. In fact, 16 नवंबर को स्टॉक ने जो क्लोज किया था करीबन 600 रुपए के आसपास, आज भी 538 पे चल रहा है, जब सारी दुनिया निफ्टी की अगर आप बात करें तो इंडेक्स कहां पहुंच चुका है. तो देयर हैज टू बी लॉट ऑफ कैच अप दैट द स्टॉक नीड्स टू डू. बाय दैट आई मीन कि अगर ये स्टॉक को ऊपर जाना है, देयर विल बी सो मेनी पीपल हु आर ट्रैप्ड अराउंड हियर. these levels of 600, the levels of 650, 700. अगर आपके पास में स्टॉक है, go and check at what price have you bought. So many are trapped. What are they doing? They are waiting. As soon as they get their price or a little up, they will be out of the stock. The only way the stock can break out strongly is to simply jump 100 points, 10%, 20%, and then sustain there. ऐसा नहीं 2 दिन 3 दिन रैली होके sustain नहीं किया, there is no point. But it has to sustain there. So over short term, yes, if the stocks goes above 600, then I might aim for like 650. That is how I'm going to take that stock one step at a time. I'm not going to jump and expect it to double from there. But if the stock has to double, I'll simply follow the trend and then I'll continue to do that. But not from the perspective that uska business kuch drastically change ho jayega, because I don't see an edge on Paytm. And if you already have a stock, I would say use a stop loss. Maybe on the downside, if you have positions build up on the stock, use 505 as a stop loss. The buyback, these things are temporary, which will going to lift up the mood over short term, maybe a day. You will see the impact tomorrow, if or you have already market is already discounted that, who knows. So it does not really going to cheer up unless and until people start seeing. When I say people, there has to be big players who start seeing value into it, because the fact is big players are going to drive it. We just have to ride it. That's how it has to be.
Awesome, sir. Thank you for sharing the view. मैं अपने listeners से कहना चाहूँगा कि यदि आपके पास कोई questions है आशीष सर के लिए, प्लीज़ आप comments में drop कर सकते हैं या मुझसे speaker access request कर सकते हैं. I'll be more than happy to provide you one. So moving on, next counter जिस पे मैं आपका view जानना चाहता हूँ, ये ऐसा stock है जो पिछले कुछ दिनों से तूफानी स्पीड से बढ़े जा रहा है और स्टॉकविट्स ऐप पे भी काफ़ी एक्टिव काउंटर रहता है ये. काफ़ी टाइम ट्रेंडिंग सेक्शन में भी फीचर कर रहा था. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ सर यस बैंक की. नाउ पिछले 4 या 5 ट्रेडिंग सेशंस में कुछ 35-40% ऊपर भाग चुका है. आज ही इंट्राडे आई थिंक 13% ऊपर क्लोज हुआ था. तो सर बैंकिंग काउंटर है डेफिनेटली, इसमें काफ़ी फ्यूल है, बट ओवरऑल कैसे देख रहे हैं अब व्यू यहाँ से आगे के लिए?
So see, Yes Bank, again, I'm going to approach Yes Bank purely from chart perspective. I'm not going to approach from the business of banking perspective कि भाई निफ्टी बैंक आउट परफॉर्म कर रहा है तो येस बैंक आउट परफॉर्म करेगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. बिकॉज येस बैंक एक खुद ही इंडिपेंडेंट चलता है. यहाँ पर आप बैंक निफ्टी के साथ येस बैंक भी चलेगा ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. ये 2 दिन में बहुत अच्छा मूव देखा है हमने, काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग रैली आई है. Maybe we'll get the news later on. The rally has already happened. Who knows? So यहाँ पर बैंक येस बैंक का अगर देखेंगे तो 18 रुपीज 18.50 के आसपास बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रेजिस्टेंस था. मल्टीपल टाइम्स वहां से रिवर्स हुआ था. It formed a triangle kind of a pattern and it strongly gave a breakout. तो अगर आपको बाय करना था तो 18.50 and 19 rupees was the range where you should start looking for, or you should have bought it from a trading perspective. I'm talking. ठीक है. लेकिन वहां पर क्या हम ये बोल सकते थे कि ये स्टॉक 30% 3 दिन में चलेगा? नहीं, वो नहीं बता सकते थे हम. लेकिन ये पता था कि ये ब्रेकआउट है तो यहाँ से गुंजाइश है, ये अराउंड 21 तक जा सकता है जिसका टारगेट है, या पॉसिबली यहाँ से ट्रेंड थोड़ा ऊपर का है. लेकिन होता क्या है ना, हम वहां पर ये स्टॉक को नहीं देखते. हम 18 या 19 पे नहीं देखते. हम ये स्टॉक को यहाँ देखते जब वो ऑलरेडी 22, 23 या 24 रुपए आ चुका है, जहां पर ये ओवरऑल ओवरबॉट है. जहां पर जिसने नीचे खरीदा होगा they might be looking for profit booking. So see, I'm not a guy who is going to be pessimistic about everything. I'm the guy who is going to be opportunistic कि कहां पर अपॉर्चुनिटी है, यहां पर अगर पोजीशंस ली हुई है तो सिंपली राइड करो. मे बी ऑन द डाउन साइड आई थिंक द सपोर्ट इज एट 21.60. सो एज लॉन्ग एज 21.60 जो कि आज के लो के पास में वो इंटैक्ट है, continue to ride it. You never know, this stock might go to 25, 27. I'm not forecasting in this kind of stocks, to be honest, because यहाँ से forecast करके मतलब नहीं है. We can clearly see the way the stock moves. It gives that current in 3 days. Look at the history. See, the simplest way you can learn about any stock. Stock has their own personality. अगर आपको उसकी personality के बारे में जानना है, the easiest way is look at its history. उसकी क्या personality है. The stock, if you look at the history in the period of April 2022 and अगर आप देखेंगे तो April 2022 में वो 12 रुपया था स्टॉक. 3 से 4 दिन के अंदर वो स्टॉक ने हाई बनाया था करीबन 16 रुपीज के आसपास. यू नो, दैट्स अ ह्यूज जंप, अगेन नियरली अराउंड 30% जंप फ्रॉम दैट. सो एंड उसके बाद क्या हुआ, वो 16 का जो हाई बनाया उसने वहां से नीचे आके फिर से 12.5 पे आ गया. सो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू, यू नीड टू नॉट ओनली एंटर, आपको एग्जिट भी पता होना चाहिए इस टाइप ऑफ स्टॉक्स में. सो दिस इज लाइक अभिमन्यु का चक्रव्यूह कि आप घुस गए तो निकलना कैसे अगर आपको पता नहीं है तो आप अटक जाओगे. तो एंट्री के साथ में आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि भाई एग्जिट कहाँ करना है, प्रॉफिट बुक कैसे करना है और आपको राइड कैसे करना है. तो वो चीजें बहुत जरूरी है. और अगर आप मेरा व्यू पूछोगे तो आई थिंक I would not be, I will refrain myself from betting into something like this kind of stocks. Maybe it can double, but I would not bet there because for me risk, see, managing risk is more important than making money. Because if you manage your risk well, you will by default make money. तो फोकस आपका पैसे कमाने पे नहीं होना चाहिए, फोकस होना चाहिए कैसे वो कैपिटल जो हमारी है उसे बचा के रखे और कैसे रिस्क मैनेज करे एवरी मूव के साथ. तो अगर मेरे पास ये पोजीशंस है नहीं, टू बी अगेन हैविंग अ डिस्क्लेमर, आई डोंट होल्ड एनी पोजीशंस हियर. अगर ये मेरे पास पोजीशंस होती, आई वुड बी बुकिंग हाफ ऑफ इट and trailing it with 21.60 जो आज का लो है as my stop loss and continue to ride it. If it goes to 28, brilliant. If it doesn't go to 28, triggers my SL, I am anyways making money out of it. So you know that should be the approach. If it makes a lot of money, fantastic. If it doesn't make that much money, brilliant, I'll deploy it somewhere else. So that's how I'm going to approach these counters.
Got it, sir. नेक्स्ट मैं क्वेरी लेना चाहूँगा सर, जो अपने लिसनर से उनकी पीबी फिनटेक पर प्रकाश आपका व्यू जानना चाहते हैं. पीबी फिनटेक,
PV FinTech. I'm not sure if
पॉलिसी बाजार.
अच्छा Policy Bazaar. I don't really.
Yeah.
So PB FinTech. Okay. Okay. So if you look at Policy Bazaar overall, again, it's a classic, similar to you know what you can see the chart price I'm talking about. If you look at this, or if you look at Zomato, or if you look at Paytm, how is it different than the overall trend? क्योंकि पॉलिसी बाजार का अगर आप देखोगे अराउंड 1400 के आसपास ट्रेड कर रहा था आज से एग्जैक्ट 1 साल पहले के आसपास. यू नो, वहां से वो अभी फिलहाल 458 पे ट्रेड कर रहा है. So it's very important. Short term में I think the stock can, if it crosses that you know resistance which is placed around 475, then it might head towards the level of 525 25 तक आप राइड कर सकते हो. और नीचे में I would highly recommend you to place a stop loss of 430 के आसपास. So as long as that 430 is intact, maybe you will get that jump on the upside. But from the investment perspective, I do not see any reason why one should be invested here unless and until it shows some kind of a very strong breakout from the resistance levels and starts forming higher high, higher low. I mean, a simple Dow theory will tell you that. So, and also from Elliott wave perspective, I think the stock needs to consolidate for a few months before we see a very strong, sensible rally coming out of it. So I think we might be just form a triangle kind of a pattern over the next 3 months of time, maybe a range bound consolidation, and then we can start seeing some traction here.
Okay. सर सौरभ ने काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन पूछा है, विच इज़ नॉट एग्जैक्टली द टेक्निकल व्यू, बट आई वुड बी क्यूरियस टू सी इफ यू वांट टेक दिस. सो सौरभ का क्वेश्चन है, आफ्टर अडानी एंटरिंग इनटू सीमेंट सेक्टर, व्हाट will be the impact of it in the coming times and its role in the infrastructure development?
So see, I would like to be very clear about one thing. See, everyone has been talking about the bubble when you come to the Adani Group stocks. Now, I don't deny that maybe it's a bubble, who knows? But look at the returns that you can see that Adani Enterprise, Adani Power, and then this kind of the entire Adani Group has given. If you have been in that area, in that stock, it has simply shown a classic outperformance. You know, तो अगर आप देखोगे अगर बबल है तो क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है who knows how much that bubble is going to be, so no one knows, right? If you look at the Bitcoin story also, from where it went, everyone thought it's going to be falling at 20,000, from 10,000 it went, started rallying from like $500, and we know how long it went before it started collapsing. So I would say that will Adani go that way? The story of many compared this with also ADAG group stocks. Don't do that. Just because we have an example of ADAG group stocks going all the way up and then crashing, Adani is going to follow that. We don't really know that is going to happen and when that is going to happen. अगर होगा भी तो कब होगा किसे मालूम. And given the diversification that is being done is simply fantastic. So I would be keen on looking for opportunities to buy the stock. I will be definitely placing a stop loss when I'm buying this kind of stocks, and I'll be looking for reason to be riding the trend, and I'll be looking for aiming that. So if look at Adani Enterprise, for example, I'm giving you, this stock is just having a classic resistance at 4070, 4080 levels. So if it crosses that resistance level, it might start another leg on the upside that we can see, and the trend will remain bullish as long as we don't close below that 3800 mark. So having said that, there is a good consolidation pattern, a good breakout possible. 3800 is your stop loss, and you can ride the trend for another 4400 or maybe much higher moves from here, who knows. So that is how you should approach these stocks. So when you say that the Adani Group is entering into the cement space, they are already doing a lot of infrastructure. They were already doing a lot of things earlier also. So that's a good sign. I mean, they are diversifying into every different type of a business so that they are cushioned against any kind of adversity that we can make out. So I see that as a very positive sign as such, because it is diversifying across businesses and acquiring different businesses. So that's a good sign for me looking at it. But that is not the reason why I want to buy now. Because if you then look at that and you want to buy now, then you have to do all your valuations. Then you have to look at the price to earning ratio, which is quoting way above 200, 300. I don't even know how much it is right now, because I'm only looking from the perspective of the momentum. What you should also be looking at is also how the earnings have been growing. How is the earnings improving? So is it justifying? So if you are looking from that business perspective, then you need to also justify, is the stock fairly valued? But I am pretty sure अगर आप valuation perspective से देखोगे तो you will never ever think of entering into Adani Group stocks. So you have to look it from the momentum perspective right now. So that is where it is. So if we see a big correction, then we can start looking from valuation perspective and business perspective. So right now, whatever businesses they are acquiring does not matter for us. Prices has to be the focus, because valuation wise we all know where they are right now in terms of valuation.
Got it, sir. I hope Saurabh, your answer is cleared. Your question is cleared. सर मैं नेक्स्ट स्टॉक जो लेना चाहूँगा MS सेठी है. उन्होंने आपका व्यू लेटेंट व्यू पर जानना चाहते हैं वो. एंड अगेन लेटेंट व्यू वन ऑफ दोज काउंटर्स है जो स्टॉकविट्स ऐप पर भी काफ़ी एक्टिव रहता है. Since its IPO, people have been loving the stock and constantly inquiring about it as well. So, sir, charts क्या बता रहे हैं आपको?
Exactly. So I think आज या कल ही latent view, when I was also on ET now, someone was talking about latent view also at that point of time. So latent view अगर stock देखे तो फिलहाल अगर आप पिछले 6 से 7 दिन में देखोगे आप, look at it, look at the simple chart, go and check the chart. Since not even 8 days, I think nearly 10 days, not a single green candle. to be honest. Now, it's unfortunately that I've been asked questions about these stocks, where latent view, Paytm, and all of those are where people are stuck actually. So they might see that I'm always talking about down move, but आप जाके चार्ट पे देखिए लास्ट 8 से 10 दिन में ये स्टॉक ने एक ग्रीन कैंडल तक नहीं बनाया. तो यहाँ पर फिलहाल लेकिन एक the important part about latent view is that if you check the past 3 months of data, the very important support it is having is at around 348. It has managed to sustain that 348 multiple times. Nearly, I can count on the chart. I am seeing the chart right now. 5 to 6 times or more than that 348 को breach नहीं किया ये stock. So for me, if I'm long on the stock, I will be closely watching. It should not close below that 348. Because अगर 348 के नीचे close कर देता है, then the possibilities of further downside can open in this stock. So 348 बहुत important है closing basis पे. So ensure you are placing your stop loss. Closing basis when I say by 315, 320, अगर stock 348 के नीचे बंद हो रहा है, I'll be out of it. So look at the stock from the trading perspective that way, and do not average out. Once it breaks the resistance on 370 on the upside, I think the stock can then show a good move towards 400. So 370 का एक hurdle है, उसे निकालने दो, वो निकला तो 400 तक जा सकता है. So accordingly plan your strategy.
Awesome. I hope CT ji आपका question is answered. Sir, before we wrap it up, I just have one very crucial question. Considering it's the year end and अभी लोग भी उस जोन में होंगे जहाँ पर वो अपना ट्रेडिंग करियर स्टार्ट करने का सोच रहे होंगे, मे बी कि यार 1 जनवरी 2 जनवरी फ्रेश ईयर, गिव इट अ फ्रेश स्टार्ट. तो सर आप ऐसे नए एस्पायरिंग ट्रेडर्स और मे बी मार्केट पार्टिसिपेंट्स इन जनरल को क्या एडवाइस करना चाहेंगे?
See, so the most important thing that I would like to tell them, because see, I come across so many of them. I even on my channel when I'm talking about, there are so many of them who have just entered the market without any understanding. पता ही नहीं है करना क्या, बस करना है क्योंकि सब जन कर रहे हैं. So my advice is going to be, first thing that you have to decide is why are you in the game. मतलब पैसा कमाना है वो तो सबको पता है. When I say why are you in the game, पैसा कमाने के लिए नहीं. Why are you in the game? What makes you think it is going to go up or down, whatever stock you are choosing? Just because you have read a news in a newspaper and you say the stock will go up, that is not how you should approach the market. क्योंकि अगर न्यूज में आ चुका है तो सारी दुनिया को पता है. देयर वर एक्सपर्ट्स महारथी बैठे जो देख रहे वो चीजों को और ऑलरेडी उसके ऊपर बैठ करके पैसा कमा चुके. So you shouldn't be the one who is reading the news and then entering into the market. So I have seen these many people, many traders who are entering now in the market. They have first of all not seen the complete cycle of it. So give some time to yourself, give some time to the market. Do not get disheartened अगर कल पैसा नहीं बना तो यार मार्केट नहीं चलता है, 2 दिन बाद बना तो मार्केट ही चलता है. वैसा मत करो. The approach, you look at it like any other business. You should give, there has to be a gestation period. You need to have 6 months, 1 year, 3 years gestation. Now you might say I don't have that much time to give 3 years of time. Then you will not learn, because one complete cycle itself takes 3 years up and down का जो cycle है, because what your strategy is working now might not work in the downtrend, or what worked in the downtrend will not work in the uptrend. So you need to have that approach of complete cycle. Learn from your mistakes. People become too arrogant and egoistic. मार्केट में arrogance और ego रखोगे तो markets will punish you badly. अगर आप बोलोगे कि ऐसा मैं नुकसान नहीं कर सकता, मैं तो ये स्टॉक को शादी करके रख दिया, ये फंडामेंटली गुड स्टॉक है. Yes Bank, I will give you hundreds of examples. India Bulls, Suzlon, there are so many of BAIL. Look at the history. फंडामेंटली गुड स्टॉक का डेफिनेशन क्या है? जस्ट बिकॉज आपने नाम सुना है, किसी ने न्यूज पे बोला है और इसलिए आपके लिए वो फंडामेंटली गुड स्टॉक हो गया, वो नहीं होता है ना. फंडामेंटली गुड स्टॉक, यू नीड टू go inside it, you need to see how it is functioning, you need to do the valuation, or you need to look at the charts. So these are the only two ways you define something. Just so I have seen so many people who are already made up the view, they've already taken the position, and then they are trying to find out reasons why the stock should go up. मतलब इसका उल्टा करना है हमें, मतलब you should find out the reasons why should stock go up and then you should invest or trade the stock. So it's very crucial. Next, so first thing, to put it in a nutshell, do your homework before you buy or sell. Don't do homework after you have bought or sold. Okay. Secondly, it's very, very important that you have an edge, something that differentiates you from everyone else. That is very crucial. Maybe so I practice even time cycle. So how do we time the market? So कौन से time पे enter करना चाहिए, कब enter करना चाहिए, that is possible. Just don't reject it कि नहीं होता है वैसा, नहीं possible. It is possible to do that. You can even time the market by looking at lunar cycle. I might look like an astrologer or something. I have no clue, to be honest. I'm an engineer. I have no clue about astrology. मैंने पढ़ा भी नहीं, मुझे पता भी नहीं है. But I was astonished when I saw the relationship, how the market is moving with respect to the moon cycles. And I was like, wow, it's possible. And it is possible to make money out of that. So as long as it works, you can do that. So it's not pseudoscience. I say this is scientific approach which is lost, where people don't understand its importance and don't reject anything. So what is very crucial is people, especially new traders who are coming in, they reject a lot of things on the face value of it without even understanding, get into the in depth of it. क्योंकि अगर आपने reject कर दिया, you have closed doors to the opportunity which would have been classic. So don't keep a very open mind, open for learning. Market will teach you every now and then. So जब भी आपको लगा कि आपको सब कुछ पढ़ लिया है, market will do something that will teach you. So you should have an open mind. Next, never be too much egoistic. I've already talked about it. You should accept, learn to accept things the way it is. Learn to accept losses. People don't I have seen people, they cannot just accept losses. कि मुझे कैसे लॉस हो सकता है, क्यों नहीं हो सकता है, आपको लॉस क्यों नहीं हो सकता है, मतलब आप नहीं डिसाइड कर रहे हो आपको लॉस हो सकता है कि नहीं, मार्केट डिसाइड कर रहा है वो. So you should learn to know when to take losses, when to accept it, and move on. Don't just cling on to it. I have seen so many good traders who would have been a classic trader, but just because they gave up too easily, you should have perseverance. You should not give up. You should continue to learn. You should continue to improve. You should have an edge and not give up. So when I say not give up, does not mean सब घर बार बेच के लगा दो. I mean, you should have a prudent risk management strategy also, money management strategy. And so in a nutshell, the entire structure of, for a trader or investor, how it functions is 30% is your study, maybe fundamental, technical, quants, algos, whatever you want to apply, 30% of that. The 30% is money management, which is very crucial. 30% is risk management. 30% is money management and risk management, I would say. 30%, the other 30% that you have to look at it, no, it's not luck. Luck is only 5% of it. The remaining other 30% is your trading psychology. बहुत important है. So 30% method, 30% risk money management, remaining the other 35% is trading mindset and psychology. If you have a series of 5 losses, are you going to follow your system and take the 6th trade or not? That is important. If you have a series of win, then are you going to lose money in the 6th one, and or you become too arrogant about it? So you need to have that mindset. You need to be very clear to change the stance. So if someone asks me one strength that I have, you might look at it like a weakness, but for me it's a strength. I can change my stand with a blink of an eye. If tomorrow something changes in the market as per my method, or if wave pattern changes, I'll change my stand. Does not matter what I have tweeted, does not matter what I have told on YouTube channels, does not matter what I have talked today. I will change my stand, but there has to be a reason to it. Just not because I'm biased. Because A, B, C steps happen, I am changing my stand from bullish to bearish. So learn to change your stand very quickly with a blink of an eye. Don't forget that. That's very crucial. Don't fight the trend. Go with the trend. Markets can be, it can continue to go up. You can say Adani is expensive, it can't continue to go up. But look at him. Don't fight the trend. Go with the flow. That's the place where you can easily make money. So there are a lot of things. If I keep talking about it, I might take hours and hours to explain my experience as a trader. But I think these are the top 4 5 things that I am looking at. For every new trader, you need to ensure you follow the process and stick by that process. You don't deviate. You just stick the process. Things will happen for you. Don't give up.
Awesome, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing these important nuggets. And for those who have tuned in late, ये recording हमारी feed पे रहेगा and please आप जाके definitely सुनिएगा starting का first half hour because वहाँ पे आशीष सर ने overall markets पे अपना view share किया है. उनके लिए जो important learnings रही है from this particular year काफी detail में सर ने explain किया है and trust me, those are very very crucial learnings from his view, and so which will be helpful for each and every one of us who are market participants. Ashish sir, once again, big thank you to you for taking out time for doing this and sharing all your views and years of experience. For personally as well, it was very insightful session, and I would be more than happy to host you sometime soon as well. So once again, sir, thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thanks for the lovely opportunity. It's brilliant talking with you all. Thank you very much.
Awesome. With that, we will wrap it up. This Spaces recording will be on our feed. Feel free to give it a listen and also follow Ashish sir on StockTwits. He regularly shares his view on the markets on our app, and feel free to follow him there and many other top traders and investors of India. With that, it's a good night from us.
Thank you.
Thank you again.